Hi, welcome to the Three English Experts. I'm Dave.
I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Birgit.
And welcome to this episode.
Three English Experts is your English podcast to help you speak better English and create a positive and happy mindset for your English learning journey.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to this episode. Today, we're talking introducing yourselves. Whether it's for an interview, whether it's introducing yourself in your work, whether it's a social event, introducing yourself is something that you can prepare for. It's something that then gives you confidence, especially in an interview situation or a high-stakes situation. So it's wise to get it right from the get-go. And so here's what we're going to have a look at today. And Rebecca is going to kick us off with an exam. Rebecca.
Yes, thank you, Dave. So I think what you just said there about the preparation, that's important. I think it is one of these things. You can prepare it. You can have it written down. You can memorize it and use it in so many situations. And I think people miss that opportunity. They go in cold and go, hi, hello. And then it all goes a bit wrong. And it's such an important thing. It needs to be interesting. It needs to be short. It needs to be accurate. It needs to be memorable. And I think that is often a problem, isn't it? Preparation is key. Saying that, I actually haven't prepared mine, but I am going to do it anyway.
Hello.
Off the cuff,
Off the cuff. I'm doing it off the cuff. So I will do my best, but I've done it quite a few times. Okay, so let me say a few words about myself. Hi, I'm Rebecca, and I am a business English coach. I coach professionals to gain more confidence in speaking English. I also translate. So I translate a lot of documents for my clients, from websites to contracts. And finally, I'm also a positive psychology practitioner. So I support clients with motivation, authenticity, and confidence issues. I'm self-employed and I've been doing this for more than 25 years. And when I'm not working, I love hanging out with my husband and my dog, walking on the beach here in Ireland, and baking is one of my hobbies, and singing karaoke. I think we all know that by now. That's me.
Wonderful. Hello, everybody. Thank you. And I counted the sentences. That was short. That was only 8 sentences.
Oh, you counted. Very good.
Yeah. And I thought we could offer you an example introduction template sort of thing you can download from this episode. As Rebecca correctly said, it's a very good idea to be prepared, and 8 sentences, that's manageable, and with some options. And we're going to talk about what options you could use now.
Absolutely. From the beginning, what's the most important thing, Dave, as you begin when you're starting your introduction?
Well, I think the name is the first and foremost, who you are. But I think also this little introductory phrase, let me introduce myself, or if it's in a more formal situation, maybe allow me to introduce myself, is also quite a good way just to kick off. It also gives you a helping hand in the confidence thing, because you've got it learned, as we've talked about before, the confidence, you've got it learned, you say it, and then you're straight into your name. Then we can go on to Birgit.
I just raised my hand, which you can't see, because I wanted, we are looking at a document at the moment, listeners. I wanted to add something here, the learning for listeners, because I know even professionals, the people find that difficult sometimes. This word I can see here, because it says introduce myself and not me. That's a typical mistake, maybe. Myself and briefly. It's an optional thing here. Let me introduce myself briefly. Very short. Keep it short and simple. Briefly is a very good expression.
I think I actually said, let me say a few words about myself. That's another one you can say.
Yep.
Again, it's a little bit less formal. Let me say a few words about myself. And then Dave said, depending on the situation, maybe you don't always need that phrase. You can just say, hi, I'm Rebecca. Depends on the scenario and how formal it is.
Another mistake I've often hear when people do introduce themselves is this, to introduce or talk about my person. So it's taken out of the German translation, one for one. So yeah, to speak about myself or something like that and not my person. It doesn't sound right in English.
Yeah. Absolutely. I've forgotten about that one. So we were saying, so name. And for me, the next most important thing is job title. I'm Rebecca and I'm a business English coach because that's the most important thing in a business scenario. What do you do? That's how I will one point how I remember you. I am a consultant. I am an IT specialist. I am yeah.
Yeah, and you have to put the A or N. It's not by accident you're putting that. It's important. I am a teacher. I'm a teacher. I'm a piano player. I'm a bus driver.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah. So you need the article.
Yeah. People forget about that.
There is the other way of actually saying a field as well. For example, I'm in marketing. I'm in sales. I'm in teaching, coaching, whatever the situation will be. And then actually to say maybe who you work for.
Yeah, that was going to be my next point. That I'm in marketing and I work for name of company.
And I notice that you use the present tense all the time. For example, I work for and I do these things. And a common mistake is Birgit, as you well know from a German speakers, is using the present continuous. So I'm working for, or I'm doing this, I'm doing that, which is incorrect in this context.
Yes, unless you are going to stop, because continuous, it will come to an end. That's the best explanation we can offer you. And the other thing, a lot of people then immediately say for, seit a long time or something. For many years, I'm working for. And again, that's the tricky bit. I have been working in the present perfect form. Rebecca, please.
I just want to add as well, you don't necessarily have to say how long you've worked there. I think this is something
I know
Germans, in my experience, tend to do that. And I don't know why. If you've worked there for 25 years, like a really long time, and you want to show in your introduction, yeah, I've worked for this company for 25 years, or you're really new, maybe, oh, I've only been here for 6 months or a year. But like this 6 years, I don't know. I just don't find it so relevant. So I would skip that.
But seems to be some cultural thing, because we have a tendency of saying, I don't know why, get a feeling that it's a sign of consistency if you stay in a company for a long time or something. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
Or it could just be the Germans, they love to give their details.
Yeah, very
as detailed as possible.
Yeah, but then it's tricky because then I have been working for so many years or since 2022. Yeah.
Exactly. So again, optional. I would say it's optional.
Yeah.
So we had name, job title, maybe like Dave said, area, I work in marketing, and then name of company. And I would also say if you work for a smaller company that people don't know, you should say what type of company that is. So I work for ABC and they are a small software consultancy, because not everybody knows who they are. If they're a big name, of course, you don't need to do that. But for smaller companies, it's helpful to say who you are, or you just say, I work for an IT software consultancy without giving the name. It's also possible.
I think also here words like family run or a small, medium enterprise, SME, are quite useful business terms for obviously small companies or medium-sized companies. Yeah, very useful. Family run or small, medium enterprise, SME is the short form in English to get the message that it's not big corporation.
Or a startup, perhaps you work for a startup or something, just so, people have an impression what type of company.
Or you're self-employed.
Right.
Yeah? Or freelancer, you do freelance work.
Okay. Yeah. Now, the next point is a bit contentious. I didn't say this in my introduction, but a lot of people say this, and they tell you how old they are. This is one of my biggest...
Do they? Really?
Oh, every time I do this with my clients, I can guarantee that most of them will put this on the second place. They'll say, my name is Bernhard and I am 49 years old. And every time there's always at least one of them that does it. And I always think, I can see that, Bernhard. I know how old you are. I don't need you to tell me that. Again, I think this is a German thing, isn't it? Telling the name. The age. Sorry.
The age. I'm not so convinced. I'm not so sure. Is this really a German thing? Yeah. But as you say, it's obviously something international or British. That's not in the forefront. It's not really necessary unless the age might be important for the job or something.
Or relevant.
Yeah. I agree. No. It's not very important. No, it's
not relevant. And normally I can see, if I can see you, I have an idea of how old you are.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be in there.
Rebecca is about 30 something.
No,
I'm
she's
21.
21, Birgit. Come on.
Just flattering. Yeah, it's always dangerous to be on the other side wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I said my name, my job title, and then I moved straight on to what I do. And I used 3 examples. So we're going back to, we talked before about the rule of 3. It's a memorable way for people to remember information, group into 3. So I said, I coach, I think, I translate, and I help clients with confidence and motivation. So I used kind of 3 examples. So I think that's a good way to describe your job. But there are other ways, of course.
But I think that's a very useful, very interesting, very good tip to get that straight, right? At some point, you're going to have to introduce yourself in the near future, print the thing out, which we can add and practice it. Yeah, exactly. Good idea.
I think also when it comes to responsibility as well, to add that in if you want to. So there's a few situations where you can go wrong, potential minefields, as we say, things can go wrong. So firstly, with this, I'm responsible for, and then after that, in English, we should use the gerund, so the verb with the ing on the end. So I'm responsible for looking after my team, for leading my team, whatever it might be. And also when you use the phrase in charge of, maybe that's a little bit outdated now. We maybe use more the responsible for, but in charge of. It's the same thing. Birgit, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's because of the of, then the verb is in the ing as well. So I'm responsible, in charge of leading a team of 5 people. And I think now we also use this idea as, for example, as team lead, my area of responsibility is to, and even now remit. I don't know. I think remit comes from originally from the military, and we use it more in the civilian world as well. So that's also another possibility of how to talk about what you do, what your responsibility is.
Yep, I agree.
Very useful. Yes. And then Rebecca talked about outside work, I think last sentence, and that's nice. So people get to know you. I love, and then again, the gerund construction with the ing. I love doing something. I love, you said,
Hanging out with my
yes.
with my husband and my
baking.
dog.
I think I remembered baking.
Right, baking.
And now
walking on the beach.
Walking on the beach, which you can now do. Wonderful. And not, maybe Germans would tend to say, I love to do it. So it's a gerund construction. I love doing that. I can read here on this sheet, which we have, I hate. I'm not sure whether you would bring that up in an introduction, but Dave, I hate working for that company.
I hate working here. I hate it.
No, that's not something you would probably use in your introduction. Yeah.
I'm going to retire next year.
I hate working. Yeah.
I meant to do with that is this all these liking verbs which you can use, but all of them follow the structure with the ing, right? So I enjoy doing this, I love doing that, I like doing this, and maybe there are things that you don't like or dislike. Let's say dislike. That's a nice one.
Dislike.
Not hate, right?
And it's a little bit introducing yourself, is a little bit selling yourself. Would you say that? Or now we're talking about positive?
For sure. 100%. Yeah.
When you say selling, especially to Germans, they get a bit allergic to that because they hate this American sales pitch. They're more sachlich and to the point. So it doesn't have to be, I always say to my clients, it doesn't have to be a sales pitch.
No.
But I want to know who you are and I need something memorable. I meet so many people every week. Over the last years, I've met hundreds of people. And for every person, I have a little hook that I go, oh, that's the lady who loves, I don't know, traveling to Thailand, or that's the guy who works in the marketing team and he created this specific campaign. I need to know something specific about you to remember, I think. So just giving people an interesting hook. So maybe some people will know, oh, she's into psychology, and other people will hook, oh, she's got a dog, and other people say, oh, she lives near the beach, or everyone will pull something different out. It could be, but they need to remember you. I think that's the most important thing. So you need to put something special in there, a little bit different.
Yeah, I like that. To put that in another respect, to me, says that don't be the one trying to hide, especially not if you're not confident with English. Yeah, not hiding, but showing who you are and preparing that. I think that's a better version, because otherwise, yeah, you will not be happy afterwards if you're trying to not say who you are, or because of insecurity. Yeah,
and it's about being authentic, being who you are, show your strengths. We've talked about this before. Emphasize your strengths. And again, it comes back to using these dynamic action verbs. So I support clients, I manage and coordinate my team, rather than just this I'm responsible for, it's more like these action verbs I think are always very helpful. They're easy to use. And again, we said present simple, I support, I help, and they're a little bit more dynamic. And
so really no reason to be afraid of introducing yourself, especially not if you have a little preparation and I get it.
Yeah. And Dave, any more points from your list? There's some down the bottom I think we haven't talked about.
There was also that one, if you want to finish off, often you hear this, and that was it, or something like that from a German translation perspective. But often, as you said, that's all about me, or something along those lines. That's a more natural way to finish at the end of the introduction. What about talking in certain situations, maybe about past jobs or something like that? I think that's also possible. Yeah, and maybe necessary on the situation. And again, you can divide it up into whether it's a more formal situation or a less formal situation. If it's a more formal, you could use maybe the word prior to, and then the company where you're at now. And then you're talking about previous companies or previous experience. Or if it's maybe a little bit less formal, you could say previously, although that is still quite formal, but less than prior to. Or keep it a little bit easier, before I joined this company, or before joining. You can use both forms as well. I worked for such and such company. So I think if you need to talk about anything beforehand, they're quite useful phrases to bring that into your topic. And I suppose here, very quickly, not to get confused with I have worked, because of course that's only to do with the current company. If it's over, then it must be just worked. I worked for this company, because it's over.
Yeah, if you talk about the past, use the past tense, I would say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that sounds too easy. Sorry.
Easier said than done.
Easier
said than done.
You could also bring in something what I find people struggle with if they were on maternal leave or parental leave, or they're part-time or work full-time or something like that.
Yes. Other vocab, I just wanted to add in, sometimes as well, people talk about their qualifications, like their university, or again, for me, I wouldn't do that unless you're a really new graduate. Maybe you've only been working for a year or so. So you could say I studied business and marketing, and then I joined the company directly after my degree or something, or master's or whatever. I think otherwise I wouldn't mention it. If it's 15, 20 years ago, it's not really relevant anymore.
I have a slight feeling that it's because when I was in England, this apprenticeship and this Prüfung Industrie-Handelskammer doesn't exist in England. Most people in business, they have a degree when they work in jobs, so that's just a normal thing. Maybe that's a little different here. So sometimes people want to focus on that, emphasize. So I hold a degree, and then it's I have a degree in or something. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know.
Could be, you could be, It's just, I feel in an introduction, it's not relevant really, unless it's quite fresh, it's quite new, or unless you've maybe changed your job. You could say, I studied law, but then later on, I changed my job completely and moved into marketing or something like that. Then it could be something, and then I remember, that's the girl who studied law and then changed their job completely. So if it's got an interesting hook to it, I think. And the other point is, as we've talked about, we start with now and go backwards. That's the other mistake people make sometimes. They start at the beginning. Hello, my name's Rebecca. I studied languages and history and politics, and then I moved, and then I lived in Germany, and now they go the other way. They start at the beginning, and you should really start from now and go backwards, like you would on a CV. Start with where you are now and work backwards. Don't go the other way. Sometimes that happens. I hear that quite a lot.
I have a very strong feeling that's very this sort of be correct, be precise.
Don't miss anything.
Yeah, in German. Yeah,
Life
we need to be
story.
correct. The Ämter, yeah. So we can't forget about that.
I think that really shoots yourself in the foot if you do that, because
Yeah, you're
people want to know the now. They want to know
Exactly.
who you are right now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then
Yeah.
they'll be just like, come on, get on with it.
And then they're not listening. They're not paying
And honestly,
attention.
yes. Yeah.
People have limited attention span today. So that's why
Absolutely.
you've got to get your points in
Absolutely. But
from the
I can see-
beginning. And
the quicker, the better.
Points. Yeah, absolutely.
The Golden Nugget.
And this week's Golden Nugget is about speed. You might be a little nervous because you need to introduce yourself to people you don't know, they don't know you. But remember one thing, speed isn't fluency, clarity is. I think this is a very good slogan. And when you are prepared, you can work on this. If you need to do the introduction in English and you're not used to doing that very often, try it out aloud to yourself before you go into a meeting, before you go into the interview. Because we all tend to talk too quickly sometimes. We speed up, especially if we are nervous, if we're not sure. But having a little break, slowing down, makes it easier to understand you, and it reduces the number of filler words you might use. It will give a better impression. That's our tip for this week.
Very good. I like that one.
Absolutely. And for next session, on a bit of a correcting things, mistakes often people make, like we had a few ideas today when you're introducing yourself, we'd like to move into pronunciation. How you say words. Obviously, English is really difficult for this. You can have the same word on, and it's said in probably 15 different ways. I'm exaggerating, of course. But in the last episode, we had, I think, the word row, if I'm not mistaken. The word ROW, it can be row, it can be row, it can be row. Work that one out for next week.
Homework.
Bye.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Thanks for listening today, guys. Just to let you know, we have another workshop coming up very soon. We are doing another online workshop. It's going to be 4 or 5 hours, small group, and you will be doing grammar with Birgit. You'll be doing communication with Dave and mindset and motivation with me. You'll be leaving with a nice roadmap, personalized learning roadmap. And also you do get 3 free sessions to our conversation club. So it's a really good deal. We're offering this for €329, which is a really good deal. So you've got the full day workshop, you've got your personalized roadmap, and you've got 3 sessions to Conversation Club. Head over to our website, 3englishexperts.com, and sign up now. We still have a few places left, and we would be happy to see you there. Thank you.